The story begins with Wonder Woman in the middle of World War II. Soldiers talk about how the battlefield felt different ever since she arrived, almost like a god had descended to stop the war. She fights through enemy forces with her sword and shield, seen as a symbol of justice and hope. As she moves through the chaos, Wonder Woman admits she was also waiting for someone else, someone she had heard stories about, someone who inspired her the same way she inspired others. Her superiors told her he was coming. Inside a Nazi stronghold, Captain America had already carved a path through enemy soldiers. With his shield raised, he faced down terrified Nazis who were ready to surrender. Wonder Woman entered the room, her presence commanding immediate respect. Cap looked at her, not as a soldier, but as something more. "You're a warrior," he said. "A warrior for peace," she replied calmly, her sword still at her side. When Hitler himself raised his hands in surrender, Wonder Woman listened closely. "My German isn't strong," she admitted, "but it sounds like he's surrendering." Cap, however, couldn't hide his pain. Millions dead, friends, people I love, and all because of him. This was the moment they first met, but for Steve, it was also a moment of loss, a reminder of Bucky and the icy waters that changed everything. Captain America's voice carries through memories of battle and loss as we see flashes of heroes united. He recalls this strange awakening, how he went from war-torn Europe to a future filled with gods, aliens, and legends. Yet some things never changed. Wonder Woman was still there, her purpose unshaken. "Do you remember," he asked her in reflection, "what you told me when I asked why you still walked man's world after the war?" Her answer echoes through the panels as we see her clashing with cosmic threats like Galactus himself. The fight never ends. Together, they became part of something larger, Avengers and Justice League standing side by side. But with unity came sacrifice. Superman holding Supergirl's lifeless body reminded them all that even gods bleed, and every hero carries scars. Cap, gun in hand, burns with grief and rage, ready to end Hitler with a single bullet. To him, it feels like justice for the millions lost. But Wonder Woman's lasso tightens, and with it, the truth surfaces. She doesn't deny his pain. She acknowledges the sword she carries, the violence she's capable of. But she insists justice is more than vengeance. Cap admits he's heard of her, the warrior who fights not just with strength, but with ideals. And Diana? She admits the same. It was the stories of Captain America that inspired her to stay in man's world, to fight alongside mortals. Her final question pierces deeper than any blade. Is this right? Is this justice? Cap hesitates, torn between his heart's fury and his ideals. The weight of the shield, the weight of his legacy, all pressed down into that one impossible choice. Even though Wonder Woman and Captain America often stood on opposite sides of hard decisions, like Diana nearly killing Maxwell Lord, they always found a way back to understanding. Not because they always agreed, but because they recognized what they represented, ideals larger than themselves. We see them as symbols, Captain America's shield, Wonder Woman's lasso. Even when they didn't want the weight, the world needed them to carry it. The montage shows their struggles, flying side by side through battles that tested their beliefs, like the Superhuman Registration Act, standing firm for justice when the world faltered, finding comfort in quiet moments, like friends sharing drinks, their bond stronger than any fight. Cap sums it up best. No matter what the universe tried to do to keep us apart, we found each other, and we made each other better. We see Captain America lower his gun, his face still hard with grief and anger, but also with clarity. He admits what Wonder Woman already knew. Killing Hitler here and now would not be justice. It would only be vengeance. Let the world end this monster together. Diana offers a solution, taking Hitler to Themyscira, where he could be guarded until trial. She knows the world will clamor for blood, just as Steve almost did. But justice, real justice, requires restraint. Then the tension spikes. Hitler lunges desperately for a gun, shouting "Neen." The look on Diana's face says it all. The man who caused so much devastation, still clawing for violence, even at the end. The page ends chillingly with a shadowed figure, raising a gun, chanting Sieg H before the panel cuts out. A reminder that evil doesn't always die with one man. It festers and it spreads. The battle around them is chaos. Gods, monsters, and titans of universes colliding. But for Diana, all of it narrows down to one moment. Steve Rogers falling wounded, his shield shattered. She cries his name, her voice cutting through the void. Steve, bleeding and broken, admits what weighs on him most. Not his death, not the pain, but the possibility of worlds where they never find each other. That's his greatest sorrow. Diana refuses to let go. She promises help, salvation, anything to keep him here. But Steve, smiling through the exhaustion, whispers that she's already saved him. Not with her lasso, not with her sword, but with her presence. And then the perfect closing thought, from a moment we met, and we've been saving each other ever since. It ties everything back. Their first meeting in war, their shared fight for justice, the countless battles side by side. Steve's last words echo like a promise. He reminds Diana of the pact they made long ago. You put down the gun, I put down the sword. It wasn't about weapons. It was about choosing a higher path, even in the middle of war. As he fades, he passes the torch back to her. The universes are crumbling. Enemies too big to name are tearing reality apart. But his message is clear. Someone has to stand. Someone has to carry the fight forward. And for Steve Rogers, that someone is Wonder Woman. Justice. That's the word that leaves his lips. Not vengeance, not power, just justice. And then we see Diana, no longer just the warrior, but the beacon he always believed her to be. She charges into battle, wielding her lasso, carrying his shield. And that's the story, folks. Please, leave your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this one. See you next time.